Bro, what in the hell? What? This is the type of text I get while I'm out here. Hey. And I said, hey. She said, what are you doing? I said, fishing. She said, oh, okay. Well, I have a question. Would you be against getting a horse? And I said, we do not have room for a horse. We have to buy a house before a horse. And then she replied, why do you hate me? And I said, I don't hate you. Where can we put a horse? She says, my backyard. I said, that won't work. Then after that, she said, I love you. And I said, I love you too. And she replies with, no, you don't. If you did, you'd let me have a horse. You might as well just break up with me. I don't get it.
She texts that no horse means you don't love me, and boom, just like that, you're trapped. She's rigged the game against you, and there is no way that you can win. If you call her out and you say, that's insane, horses don't equal love, then she'll accuse you of being cold and uncaring. But if you indulge her and say, I'll prove my love, you can get a horse, then you've just added fuel to her crazy. And then suddenly she has trapped you with the precedent that you can't say no to her without your love being in question. And here's what society never told you about women, which is that bending over backwards for her, that does not create calm, that cements her paranoia. Today, a horse, tomorrow, a circus. Giving in to her emotional terrorism does not make you the ringmaster, it makes you the clown. Every hoop you jump through strengthens her irrationality, making it much worse. And every time you act to prove your innocence, it just makes you seem more guilty. So what is a man to do? Well, this is the truth that women will never admit out loud, which is that they don't actually want a man to take their emotions seriously.
The worst thing to me that could possibly ever happen is people taking me seriously when I complain. If I complain, I am being dramatic for like the vibe of being dramatic. It's funny. It's like I like to do it. Like I like to complain in a fun way. When I get comments that are like, it's okay, girl. Like you're so strong. Keep going. Stop. Please stop. Please stop. Please. That's not what I mean. Okay, stop.
I complain just for the vibes. That sentence just captures women so well. Men are not consistent. When it comes to their own emotions, they'll happily ignore them. It's just like background noise. Not that important, just get on with life. But when it comes to women's emotions, they'll drop everything. Life stops while we make sure that she's okay. Men, I ask you, why the inconsistency? The truth is that men repress their emotions too much. But women have the opposite problem. Every one of their emotions is overly indulged. They need to control themselves. They're too emotional. Though, of course, saying that in this culture is highly controversial.
We raise boys to control their natures, but we don't raise girls to control their natures. Boys are told, you got to control your sexual nature, you got to control your aggression. What do we tell girls to control?
Right. Nothing.
Nothing. But they have to control their emotions. And whenever I have said that, the left wing on the internet goes crazy that this is misogyny. Oh, we have to control our emotions. Well, first of all, everybody has to control their emotions. But the notion that women are not born perfect
Right.
is insulting to them.
Men typically see negative emotions as dead weight, like it serves no practical purpose. You just got to exercise self-control and keep going. And it's baffling to men that women would rather abandon that self-discipline to just wallow in fear, sadness, and anger. But what men don't understand is that women experience those emotions very differently. To the feminine brain, those emotions bring a unique reward. Men, you need to know this about women. I'm going to explain that in a moment, but first, let's talk about rewarding that one woman that lots of men still have a lot of love for, their mum. Lots of mums in the older generation are not that tech savvy. They're too scared to walk into a store and buy themselves a pair of wireless earbuds. As her generous son, that's where you come in. Mother's Day is coming up, and a pair of wireless earbuds from today's sponsor, Raycon, is the perfect Mother's Day gift. A chance to upgrade her audio experience. My mum watches as much YouTube as I do. We're always sending each other links. And she never uses wired headphones anymore. She loves her earbuds. They're so much more compact and convenient. Raycon earbuds come in at half the price of other premium audio brands. They have 32 hours of battery life and multi-point connectivity, which means you can pair 2 devices at once. It's so simple, your mum's never going to ask you for Bluetooth help again. They have active noise cancellation, which I find is perfect when I'm outside gardening, raking leaves, or sawing wood. And I love that they're dustproof and sweat resistant, perfect for exercise or when you're at the gym. When I'm done, I just slip them back inside this protective case cover, which has a unique design and wireless charging. If you're looking for a great gift for mum or you want to upgrade your own audio, go to buyraycon.com/AlexGrace and get 20% off site-wide. Brought to you by Raycon. Okay, back to explaining the reward that women experience when they're gripped by negative emotions. As a man, you might dread negative feelings, but women don't have that same aversion. Anxiety pumps adrenaline, crying floods endorphins, and the amygdala uses strong emotions to anchor memories in place. You intuitively know this. Have you ever heard a woman's story about something that happened that's high on emotion but very low on accuracy? That's an actual strategy. Women exaggerate the feelings that they are feeling to improve their memory recall. That's not a bug, it's a feature. We know that there's a large hormonal difference between men and women, and that impacts our thoughts and feelings, but there's a very big neurological difference as well. Larry Cahill did fantastic research on this, showing that there is a clear and measurable difference between the sexes. The data shows how the amygdala processes emotions differently inside the female brain, and how men and women's brains synthesize serotonin differently. The point being that from a woman's perspective, negative emotions are not a drag, they're a rush with a payoff. If you've ever wondered why women actively seek out drama and conflict, it's because it feeds her. Many women would rather fight with you than be bored. Negative emotions and female chaos are contagious amongst women. When they watch reality TV or they scroll through social media or spend time with other women, very easily your girlfriend can become infected by the negative emotions that she's exposed to. That's not an accident. She seeks it out. She wants to get infected. That's part of femininity. Emotions make her feel alive. But understand that while she is contagious, she wants you, the man in her life, to have immunity. That's your job, to stand above the chaos and not get infected by any of her drama.
I'm actually a pretty self-aware person. Like when I make bad decisions, it's not because I didn't know they're bad. That's actually kind of the problem, is that I know they're bad decisions and then I make them anyway. Like for the plot, we'll say, but actually no, just because I'm mentally ill and I can't get my shit together.
When she can't get her life together, she needs to see that you are on top of things, that she's not going to be able to drag you into her chaos. Women often talk about emotional labor in a relationship, how it needs to be 50-50, and that's true. But the thing is that men and women have different roles. For a woman's emotional labor, her role is to get a man to open up, help him explore his feelings, to talk about them, learn how to put into words what he's feeling. That's her role. For a man, his emotional labor is the opposite. Staying strong, stoic, above all the chaos, allowing her to express her emotions and holding her within his unshakable masculine frame. She needs to know that while her emotions are held and explored, decisions are ultimately going to be made by rationality and logic. In a healthy relationship, the emotional labor flows back and forth, each gender helping the other one pull them back from an overindulgence of their tendencies. For men, repression; for women, overexpression. And so for a man to do his job correctly, he needs to have a very clear distinction between the emotions that a woman is feeling and what she believes is causing them. She might say, I'm feeling unloved because you won't buy me a horse, but that's not true. And any time that you spend talking about the horse is time wasted. And even worse, you lose credibility because she successfully dragged you into her nonsense. You need to tell her that setting boundaries is an expression of how much you love her, and that if she's feeling unloved, the two of you can talk about it. We're not going to talk about a horse, but we will talk about you. We'll talk about your feelings, because that's actually what's important right now. A woman does not want a man who submits to her fears. She wants a man who leads her out of them.
I have a question.
Yes, I still love you. Yes, I'd love you if you were aware. No, I don't want to break up. And no, I wouldn't find another wife if you died.
Thank you.
Whatever the argument is, make sure your frame is solid. Do not indulge her chaos. If she says, you're not trustworthy, any day now you're going to cheat on me, you don't solve that by handing her phone so that she can see that there's nothing to be worried about. If she says, you don't care about me because you didn't buy me flowers yesterday, you don't solve that by buying her flowers. When you are rock solid that you know that you are trustworthy, that you do love her, then stay solid in that. Don't be a clown jumping through her hoops like a circus act. You do not gain trust from a woman by constantly proving to her that you're trustworthy. You do it by standing firm in reality. And when she's emotional and lashing out, successfully redirecting the conversation away from you and towards her and her emotions. In fact, I make the case that as a man, trust is not something that you should earn from a woman at all. From a woman, trust is something that you should demand. You are entitled to it, and I'm going to spend the rest of the video explaining why. If you want to keep watching, come and join me on Patreon. Often what you see here on YouTube, these are just the shortened abridged versions where I speak about the theory. If you want more depth, want to know how to implement this in a practical manner to actually help you in your relationships, come on over to Patreon, watch the extended versions of my videos. You're going to see there's incredible value for money, a huge back catalog, bunch of great stuff on Patreon. Come and join me.